Hello everybody. I'm sitting on my patio sofa, my wicker sofa. It's 7:30 at night. Let me bring you closer. Look at me. Look at me, look at me. The transformation continues. Nothing is ever complete, is it? That's what I'm learning. Let me tell you what happened. If you've been following me, you know that I have recently had a very insightful dream on the lunar eclipse. Not only was it transformative for me in working through karma, I was also being given an emotional connection to Shiva, the father of Ganesha. I am connected to Ganesha, and I've mentioned that many times. And I just felt like I need to try to really go back to temple. A Hindu temple was built out here about 5 years ago, and I went about 3 or 4 years ago. And at that time I told them I had started chanting to Ganesha and I'd had a mystical experience, and the lady I spoke to was not a priest, okay? She was not a priestess, she was not a Sanatani, Yogini, nothing like that. She was a doctor. She was East Indian and dressed in the temple, you know, East Indian dress, pants and top, tunic off the shoulder. But she said, well, I don't know what you want to do. Do you want to start in with the children in Sunday school? And I'm like, what? I'm trying to explain a mystical experience I've just had with Ganesha. And I thought, oh gosh, I don't know what to do. And then there was another man there, and I tried to tell him, you know, I've been chanting to Ganesha. I had a dream about Ganesha, and I'm trying to understand what happened. And he said, well, you know, we have these activities here and these events. And then I went in, and there was a giant statue of Ganesha. So I sat and connected with this big, beautiful statue of Ganesha, and then I left. Now, I've been extremely tired, you know. I was still carrying around a lot of baggage, okay? Not understanding yet about everything that had happened to me resulting from narcissism. Ganesha was still working with me. You know, there's a lot to work through, guys. And one of the psychologists from East India, that's on YouTube here, Danish, he said, if you were raised by a narcissist parent, and he didn't say, and then went and, you know, had a legal contract, divine union, with a spouse who was a narcissist, he said, consider yourself lucky to be here watching this video. Congratulate yourself, because you're one of the lucky ones. And I have said that I know there are people that have taken their life because they did not understand that it wasn't them. It was the other person. And that's why I say I've been receiving the knowledge and the understanding that it's important to have that word. It's important to have the label, right? If you're carrying a suitcase, which we're carrying baggage around, right? We're carrying it, we're holding it in our arms. But if we can put a handle, we can take a tool, and we can figure out another way to carry it or deal with it or toss it, not have to hold it and carry it in our arms all the time. We put a handle on it. It's a lot easier to deal with. That would be the name. There's power in a name. You know, you get the name, you call it, and now you know what you're dealing with. It's not about harping on it and being negative, you know, like a perennial victim. That's not the goal. That's not the purpose. Oh, come on. Thought I brushed my hair. Jeez Louise. So, I'm sitting here researching more and coming across the practice of Hinduism called Sanatana Dharma. Isn't it interesting how words get changed as they are translated throughout generations and religions? And my dream about the snake. Sanatan, take out the na, right? You have Satan. One video I came across had a picture of someone doing the cobra yoga pose, and this man says yoga is satanic. Oh my God, you guys, the ignorance is just unbelievable. So, I've talked about your soul group and your spiritual parents and your life path number. You owe it to yourself to figure out what your life path number is and what deity would correspond with that. And you may have to go through working with different deities until you hit upon one that actually connects to you in some way. For me, it was in a dream. And then when something happens very quickly and easily after working with that deity, then you know you've hit upon the right soul family group that you are a part of. And I know I recently saw a comment on a video about Sanatana Dharma and practicing Hinduism. This man said he was raised Muslim, but he converted to Hinduism. He got in touch with his inner self, probably through meditation and listening to his inner voice. So I thought, I'm very hungry, sorry, I'm eating. I'm going to go over to temple again. I'm even closer now, or am I? No, I'm about the same distance, maybe a little bit farther. But it's just a straight shot from where I am to the temple. And I don't see any events. I don't see anything for the month of April. It says the temple's open, so I thought, okay, well, let me just throw on my sweatpants and my hoodie and go over there. So that's what I did. Around 6:30, I made it. And the door was locked, and they had a little doorbell, so I rang the doorbell. And a man came in a tunic and a skirt, and I figured he was the priest. So we had a little bit of a conversation there. Trying to remember what I said. Hello, I want to practice Sanatana Dharma. I've been practicing by myself, you know, meditating and this and that. And he listened. He was a good listener. And I said, I really want to come and learn more about these other things in the practice of Sanatana Dharma. I'm connected to Ganesha. I've been following Ganesha and chanting to Ganesha all by myself, you know, for years. And I don't really want to be alone anymore. I want to get more involved now in Hinduism. He was impressed by the fact that I had the dream about Ganesha and I was connected and I was chanting and all of that. And I said, and recently I've had this dream about, you know, the snake coming up and going around my neck and, you know, coming up here. And he was listening intently. So I think he knows that I've had some very important mystical experiences that are connecting me with deities that are part of my soul group. I'm getting in touch with my soul family, and what I really need to do to be happy and healthy and whole and release karma. Nothing else has actually ever worked for me, you know. I started with meditation years ago, and I told him my dad started me on meditation when I was 12 years old, to help deal with anxiety. And we went to a TM house, and I got a mantra, and I began practicing. And I did it off and on, you know, for years. And I had some really nice experiences. So he told me about some of the things that they're going to have. On Monday, they're actually going to have a Shivatri, which is a puja to Shiva. I might be too tired to go after work, but I might just go over there anyway. I think he said it's going to be at 6:30. And then he said we feel it's important to come on Saturdays. This can help you work through karma, right? Banish negativity and release your sins, which I know what the word sin means. It means error, when we've made mistakes, and we need to work through them. This is how we learn, okay? We learn by making mistakes. And so if we can review them or release them, transform that energy, and become more aware of our thoughts and our actions. But he said we're going to be celebrating Hanuman, and you can just sit and listen while other people are chanting. And he said something about this helps on Saturdays to help work through, like I said, bad energies. I don't know if he said karma. I think he said karma and sin. Whatever mistakes we have, and like I've said recently, are really visited upon us by other people. They commit an error against us, dumping on us, and we are visited by their issues and their problems, and we have to undump it. We have to figure out how to release it. So I went in, and there was this statue of Ganesha. It's always there. I said, oh, you still have Ganesha over here. It was black. I did not remember it being black. I didn't recognize it. They said, oh, who's the black statue? He said, it's Ganesha. I said, oh, mine's pink. Oh, and it's not that big. It's really covered with an incredible amount of big jewelry with rhinestones, and there's a crown and all these things. Now, when I was there before, there was a bunch of money that had been thrown at the foot of Ganesha's statue. This time there was only a $1 bill. And I told him before we went in there, I want to make a donation. This is what I want to do now, at least once a week, for half an hour, whatever. So he had a donation box over by another statue, and it had like a lock on it. You know how when you go to a hotel and you push these numbers to open the safe and put your wallet in there? There was a slot to put your money that went into the safe. So I said, oh, no more throwing money at the foot of the statue. He said, no. That's pretty sad. So he said, I can let you meditate. Or he picked up, because he's the priest, right? So he picked up this plate with a little round thing with a fire on it and moved it around. And then he brought it to me, and he said, take the fire energy and the smell of the incense. I'm like, yep. Ah, yes, I know how to suck in fire energy, light, gold, sun energy. And I said, thank you. And then he dipped his finger in this orange powder and came over and said something and put the dot on my forehead. I'm like, oh my God. I'm being brought into the fold. Something said to me, go over there, go over there. Throw on your clothes and go over there before 7. Nobody ever offered to do this for me before. But I think what I told him was enough for him to be convinced that I'm truly following Ganesha. And then he went and got some nuts, cashews and almonds, and gave me in my hand and said, for you, prasada. And I know what that is. That's food. I said, oh, thank you. I put them in my mouth. I was getting hungry. I chewed them. Then he brought me an orange. Took an orange and a flower and gave me that. And I asked, what do I do this? Will I give it to Ganesha? Or he said, no, it's for you. So I held it. And he said, now you can meditate. He actually stood by in between the lobby and this room while I sat on the floor. Sat on the floor, put my leg up, my right leg up on my left thigh, and I started. Om Ganapate Namaha. So I didn't need to ask him what to do. He could see I knew what to do. I wasn't kidding when I said I'm a follower of Ganesha. I've been practicing and chanting to Ganesha for a number of years now. I think it's been about 4.5 years, even though I had the dream where I met Ganesha up in the clouds probably over 10 years ago. And I just, after he did this, I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. I feel like I'm being initiated into the temple. I was, guys. It was just the right time, the perfect thing for me to do. And this lunar eclipse, part of this lunar eclipse energy, by one Vedic astrologer, said that you may even find yourself drawn to a new deity. Now, Shiva's not a new deity. Shiva is the father of Ganesha. I was never really that interested in Ganesha. Shiva. I was emotionally connected to Ganesha because I needed to be. But now I also have Shiva. And I told him also that I had received the word lingam, or I had a lingam. I can't remember what I said. So I sat there for 10 minutes chanting to the gigantic, beautiful statue in the temple, to Ganesha. And he knew I wasn't kidding. Om Ganapate Namaha. So he could see I was for real. So then I said to him, he came over, I said to him, well, you're about to close. He said, well, not for, like maybe 10 minutes. And his name is Darshan, which means priest. I said, oh, okay. I said, I received the word from Ganesha, lingam. And like I said, I bought a little tiny lingam and I hold it. But after having my dream with the snake, I'm looking at the Shiva lingam and now I see. He said, oh, there. I said, oh, there. They had this big Shiva lingam with the cobra on the top and the snake around the bottom. And then the picture of the Trinity, Shiva, Parvati, and Ganesha in a picture on the wall. And I said, but I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do, What actually am I supposed to really be doing now regarding the lingam? And I've already been chanting to Ganesha for over 5 minutes. And I know now is the time that you can go to Shiva. I said, do I go over there and chant? He's nodding, he said, yes. I said, to Ganesha? I said, no, to Shiva. Okay, and he said, Om Namah Shivaya Namaha. I said, okay, thank you. So I said, well, I'll just go over there for a few minutes then to chant to Shiva. He said, yes, okay. So he stood next to me and I'm chanting Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah or Namaha Shivaya Namah. I turned to him like, I forgot. He said, Om Namah Shivaya Namaha. Okay. Om Namah Shivaya Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya Namaha. And I know I'd seen the chant here the other day because I've been looking into Shiva more. And I'm still going to have to go back and learn because this is a different language. But every letter and every word is a frequency. And it contacts a certain dimension and makes certain things happen. Like when I listened to Ganesha's chant for over 20 minutes, probably 1,000 times it was repeating, and the thing I had asked for manifested in the way that it could. And I've told that story, but it's phenomenal, okay? It's paranormal, and it can be hard to believe, but something manifested the following morning. So yes, there's just an incredible way to access the universe, which is sound. The primordial sound is Om. And I have a paranormal experience with that, just chanting Om in itself, or listening just to Om on my phone while I'm laying down, going to sleep. So yes, I'm very proud of this, guys, and I may have one every Saturday, and I don't care where I go or who looks at me and how they look at me or what, because being in this culture, there are other religions that people practice, but they have darker skin. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to going to the Shiva Puja, I think on Monday night after work. And if you have also felt a connection to a different deity than you normally work with, please share below. If you've discovered your life path number, if you've watched my video on that and you've found your deity, or you're still searching, please share below, because this is the easiest, fastest way for us to get things to happen for us in our lives, is by connecting, you know, plugging into the right place. You try to plug in a plug that doesn't have the right size prongs, or AC, DC, whatever, it's either not going to work or it's going to, you know, break the wires in there. But yeah, so a lot of us have just lived our whole lives being told that we have to practice this belief or this tradition, and we never know why we don't really have a feeling that's strong and connected, or life is still such a big struggle. And really, since I've had my dream, not only have I felt different and lighter and more energetic, I was awake the other night for 16 hours. I came home, I'd walked over 3 miles, I'd climbed some steps. I was fine. I didn't have to lay down at 5:30. I lay down at about 7:30, and then I got the text about the sofa. Can we come by and buy it? So they came I got up, got dressed, they came at 8:30 and they bought the sofa. And I did wake up to an empty living room, just like I had dreamed on the solar eclipse last year, October 14th. I woke up the following morning and saw my empty living room and went, am I moving? So yeah, we got to keep track of the lunar and the solar eclipses, and I mentioned that to him as well, that I was learning about Ketu and Rahu, and he said you will learn how to connect the deities with these moon events with Ketu and Rahu and so forth. So yeah, I'm going to be learning more and being with other people who practice this spiritual tradition. So this channel is still going to be I'm still me, okay? I'm still a witch, eh? Shiva is about connecting to the earth, the goddess, and the cosmos. That's what a witch does. That's what Wicca's about, a goddess-based religion, earth-based spirituality. That's what it's about. You connect to the earth, you are connecting to nature, all of nature, and that includes the cosmos. But this is a much more specific type of way of practicing. And there's different ways to practice in Sanatana Dharma. Mine, I believe, is the yoga path, but I'll have to talk more about that later. And so I'll be making a separate playlist for when I talk about the Hindu practices. All right? So I hope you're learning and growing with me. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'm going to finish my dinner and have a wonderful rest of the weekend. And I will see you sometime next week.